It's time for a really exciting reading challenge. Actually, 3 really exciting reading challenges. Who's ready? Hello my friends, welcome to my channel, Discover with Kim. I'm Kim, I'm so excited you're here with me today. Welcome to this week's book vlog. This week I decided to do a couple reading challenges. The first of which is going to be tracking how much I read in 1 week, so how many pages and how much time I read throughout the week as a casual/avid reader, as well as I'm going to be tracking how long it takes me to read 100 pages, as well as how many pages I can read in 1 hour. So it's going to be a couple different timed and page count challenges this week, and I'm really excited to see how it all goes and to take you guys with me. So let's get reading. I'm going to be seeing how long it takes me to read 100 pages. So I'm going to be reading Immortal Consequences. We're going to be starting a timer on my phone. We're going to be reading 100 pages. We'll be starting on page 131. You see that? Yep. 131, chapter 14, which means we need to be going to page 231. So what I'm going to do to make sure I know where it is I'm going to put a sticky note right on 232. So you'll see this is where my bookmark is, and this is where I need to read. So that chunk there, this chunk here, that's my 100 pages I need to read. So we're going to see how long it takes me to read that 100 pages. My prediction is that it's going to take me just short of 2 hours, so maybe like an hour and 50 minutes. That's my prediction, but I also get distracted easily, or the animals need me for some reason, so I'm going to try to pause the timer if I get up for more than like 30 seconds. So if it's more than like a 30-second distraction, I'm going to try to pause the timer so that I can get a really accurate timing of how long it takes me to read these 100 pages. But like I said, I'm easily distractible and have animals that often need me, so we're going to try our best. And my guess is going to take me about an hour 50. It is currently 3:36, so it is 3:36, which means that I should be done by like 5:30, but I might take a break for dinner. But if I do, obviously I'll check in and let you guys know. But we're going to be starting on page 131, chapter 14. We're going to be seeing how long it takes me to read 100 pages. I have my water, I have some snacks, unhealthy snacks, but sometimes you just need some unhealthy snacks. And then I have some spooky music going. I will show you. We have our spooky ambiance music because it is officially fall. So we have our spooky ambiance music, we have our snacks, we have our water, and we have our book. That means I have everything I need to do this little challenge. So let's see how long it takes me to read 100 pages, shall we? So, timer, start. Let's get it. Almost 20 minutes in, and I am page 154, so I'm about 22 pages in. Just keep going. This book is so good, like, it's really starting to grip me, and I'm really starting to love it. Sorry you can hear my housemate snoring, but I'm really starting to love this book. have it. It took me 1 hour and 23 minutes to read 100 pages, which was actually much faster than I expected it to take. It is currently 5:11 p.m. that I am done. So yeah, it took me 1 hour and 23 minutes. So that is 83 minutes, which means if I read 101 pages technically, it took me about 49 seconds to read a page. That's not the math I was trying to do. Okay, so I read 1 and a 5th page each minute. So yeah, it took me much less time to read that than I anticipated. I do think it's because, one, it is a more young adult fantasy, so I think that helps because it reads a little bit faster, and two, because I'm really into it, so I'm reading pretty quickly right now. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with how it went. It's such a good part of the book. Like, I'm in such a good part of the book that I'm not surprised that I'm flying through it. But an hour and 23 minutes to read 100 pages, so 83 minutes to read 100 pages is not that bad at all. I'm actually pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of myself, so yay. I do think that, like I said, if I read a different type of book, I think it would be different. So I think that's something I'll do in the future. Maybe challenge myself to read like a more in-depth, brain-heavy book and see how long it takes me to read 100 pages of that. But I'm pretty proud of that. 100 pages checked off, and now I get to go have some dinner. And then tomorrow we'll be seeing how many pages I can read in 60 minutes. So we'll set a 60-minute timer, and we will try to read as many pages as I can in 60 minutes because that sounds fun. But yeah, so far I've read 100 pages today in 83 minutes. Pretty good challenge. Okay, it is time for my next challenge. So my next challenge is going to be how many pages can I read in 60 minutes? So how much can I read in 1 hour? Now, unlike for the 100 pages, I'm not going to be stopping the stopwatch every single time I stop reading. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm literally just going to be setting a timer for 1 hour. And then I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to read. I'm going to see how much I get read in this 1 hour. Hopefully I won't get too distracted. Hopefully my cats won't need too much from me. Hopefully I'll be able to actually sit down and read for the next 60 minutes pretty much undisturbed. But if I do get disturbed, well, it's going to be included in the timer and it's going to show my page count. It's going to set the next hour on my timer, and however many pages I get done is however many pages I get done. So we will see how it goes, and we'll see how many pages I can read in 1 hour. I am starting on page 278. Let's see how I do. 1 hour starts now. Okay, my hour is officially up and I am on page 340, which means I don't remember what page I started on. I do not. I read to page 340. I was on 278. 62 pages. About a page a minute. I did get distracted quite a bit. I found it a little hard to keep reading. But it's getting really good now. That's funny. But I had a hard time concentrating. But I got 62 pages in. And yeah, it is now almost 11 o'clock at night, so we'll chat more tomorrow. it is the end of the week and I'm officially done with all of my reading challenges for this week, so let's do a little roundup. Just do some quick math. So, let's go over stats for the week. My 3 challenges were: how much do I read in 1 week? How long does it take me to read 100 pages? And how many pages can I read in 1 hour? So, starting with how long does it take me to read 100 pages, you guys saw on Wednesday I did this challenge and it ended up taking me 1 hour and 23 minutes to read 101 pages because I finished the chapter, but an hour and 23 minutes or 83 minutes to read 101 pages, which I thought was pretty good. Going on to our next challenge, I was like, I'm curious how many pages I can read in 1 hour. Yes, similar, but also a little bit different because it's time-based versus the other one was pages-based, and this one I never stopped the timer. Even when I got up to go do stuff or the cats wanted me, I continued that timer running. So in 1 hour, I ended up reading 62 pages, which I think was pretty similar to the speed I read the 100 pages at. It was the same book and it was young adult, so that probably had something to do with it. Like I said, if I did this challenge again with a different book, my time might be different. I am curious to know if that is something that would happen, so that's probably something I'll do in the future, but that's that. Alright, let's go on to how much I read this past week. So, going through it, on Monday I read 54 pages for 53 minutes. Tuesday I read 75 pages in 1 hour and 21 minutes. Wednesday I read 101 pages in 1 hour and 23 minutes. Thursday I read in the afternoon 45 pages in 41 minutes, and I did my 60-minute challenge, plus I read a little over, so I did 66 pages in 65 minutes, which ended up being 111 pages in 1 hour and 46 minutes on Thursday. On Friday, I read for 1 hour and 17 minutes, and I read 84 pages. On Saturday, I read for 55 minutes, and I read 67 pages, and I ended up finishing Mortal Consequences, which I absolutely loved. And then on Sunday, I really didn't read much. I just read very quickly at the end of the day, and I started the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I read for about 10 to 12 minutes. I forgot to start the timer, but I'm saying probably about 12 minutes, and I read 16 pages. It's really cute so far, by the way. So I did some really quick math, and rounding it all up, I read, that was a drum roll, I read 441 pages last week, and I spent 412 minutes reading, which was 6 hours and 52 minutes approximately. I hope that math is right because I did that really, really fast on the side there. But 441 pages in just shy of 7 hours last week, and that was how much I read in 1 week. My weeks of reading do vary just based on how much I read, how interested I am in the reading, if I'm in a mini book slump, if I have a lot going on, XYZ. Some weeks I read more, some weeks I read less, but I would say that was about a good estimation of what I do read in a week. And Mortal Consequences was 495 pages, which is why I only ended up reading mostly that book last week because it was so many pages, but it was really good. And yeah, I think 441 pages in a week is really good. I also read a morning book every single day, which I ended up not recording any of, but I tend to read for about 5 minutes in the morning, and I tend to read like 5 to 10 pages, so that's an extra, 60 pages I read every single week, and an extra 30 minutes I spend reading, so you can add that 60 minutes and that 30 minutes onto my weekly reading if you want, because that is a separate book. It's a morning book. I've been reading Out of the Ashes by Courtney Peppernell as my morning book this month, so that is something that I also do. I read a morning book every single day. Like I said, I tend to spend 5 to 10 minutes every single morning, and I tend to read 5 to 10 pages of this book. Right now it's a poetry book. Sometimes it's short stories, sometimes it's nonfiction, but I tend to start my morning reading just to get my brain going in a way that's not like social media or technology, but gets me going in kind of a great, gentle way to wake up. I'm getting sidetracked here, but yeah. So you can add that to my weekly reading count if you wish, because that is also something that I read every single week. Alright, my friends, these challenges were so fun this past week. I thought it was so fun to record how much I read every single day, to see how long it takes me to read 100 pages, and to see how many pages I can read in an hour. I really like these challenges, and I do think I'll do them in the future with different types of books. maybe I'll do a comparison blog. Like how many pages can I read in an hour of a fantasy book, a young adult book, a romance book? Oh, there we go. I just got it. And another one, obviously separate video, will be the same thing, but it'll be like, how long does it take me to read 100 pages of a romance book? How long does it take me to read 100 pages of a fantasy book? I love it. So see that coming up sometime in the future. Alright, my friends? But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. I'd love to know how much you read last week and what you're reading. Things are getting loud upstairs, so I gotta go. Thank you guys so much for being here. Live well, read some books, go discover. Bye, friends. See you next week. Actually, see you Friday. How fun. I love challenges.